What's up? Just finished my job. I went into Canadian Sports Center. That is my job. I'm gainfully employed in the job of talking on television, but in interesting details. Interesting. Before I get into how wonderful Khabib is, my job's super fun. It's super different than I actually thought. My your job is not to analyze things necessarily on TV all the time. Sorry, I was just mic'd, so I'm going to take that off. Thank you for humoring me. Job is to be entertaining or provocative or interesting, or it's really fascinating actually, how it changes over time. I don't know what happened to the clip, but here we are. So Khabib's so you underestimate him at your peril. I got perilled out of $50. If you go back, you may be interested, you may not. I did a video. So first of all, I bet $50. I never bet money. I never even make predictions. I never make even forecasts. I never make picks. There's a lot of reasons for that. Most of them are for my own enjoyment. I find I enjoy it more if I don't start to compartmentalize what I believe will happen, knowing it is unpredictable. Also, I believe it makes me do my job better. And I think a big part about doing a job better is doing it different. Because if you're just the same as everybody else, but you got a dumber haircut, what's the point, right? To do anything in an interesting way, I think you have to do it your own way. So I think not making picks, predictions, and trying to anticipate the future has been of great benefit to me in my life and my happiness and my job. I probably make more money and have a better job, I have many jobs, but a number of better jobs because I don't do that. But I let myself get dragged into it this time. I'm like, okay, what? And it's one thing to say into your phone, oh, I think this guy's going to win. That's part of your job, to provoke, to create debate and discussion. But in this case, I spent $50. I never do that. Never, 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 never. This is only the second time ever. And all of the reasons. So my typical, first of all, let's just talk about Khabib before we talk about all of that. Who cares about that? But I'll talk about it later. So Khabib retires. First of all, before we even talk about the fight, did you see like the honest to see honest emotion, like to see true honest emotion, like unbridled, the inability to control yourself from expressing it just explodes out of you, pours out of you. It's something so rare and special and real, you know? And you saw that. And we can write any narrative we want. Khabib's emotional outpouring was for his father, for his career, and when we do that, we are writing a narrative about the feeling of this wonderful, inspiring person. We can do that if we choose, but we're just making it up. We don't know why he was so emotional. And if he's being honest with himself, he may not either. Emotion of that power we shouldn't be capable of explaining it in 3 sentences or 5 sentences. It's at the root of what it is to be human, to live your life and feel that, to like truly feel that, to feel that unbridled passion, fear, sadness, happiness, joy, all of it. We shouldn't be able to explain that in 2 sentences. Well, Khabib, you see the loss of his father. That's a narrative. We're doing ourselves a disservice if we try to explain away that beautiful emotion. Sorry, I'm just going to make sure that nobody, I don't know what you call it when you are not able to be reached and your phone rings and it won't interrupt you. But yeah, that kind of emotion that you see, that's why one of the reasons we watch fighting and dance and hip hop and whatever things you watch is to see that true raw humanity. And that was it was, it's his entire life is being expressed emotionally there. And I'm doing a terrible job of explaining it because it shouldn't be explainable. These are the mysteries of the world. These are the mystical things about what it is to live as a human, to experience life at the highest level in ways that most of us cannot experience it. To a raw and burning desire, all of these things. It's wonderful. It's so wonderful. And then at the end of that fight, now, I literally started to think about so you start to look, there's 2 humans in there, two special humans. The narrative later will say what happened was, the wrestling of Khabib, the intensity. We'll just make up shit to explain it. You shouldn't be able to click on someone's YouTube page or Instagram or something and be able to see the mysteries of the universe explained in a neat little box. And if you do and you want that, that's great. We are fragile creatures and we need to feel like we understand the world, right? We need to feel like we understand the world, but we don't. You, Khabib didn't win because he's the better wrestler or because he, set up the triangle from the top position, then attacked the arm, and as he defended the arm, switched back to the triangle. That happened. Those tools were part of the painting, but the painting isn't, a brush was used and purple paint was used. The painting is something very mystical and very difficult. We shouldn't be able to explain it. And so over time, it's a weird job that people like me have. Over time, we want to explain things in neat little boxes. He used a jab to slip his head outside, landed the right hand, defended the takedown aggressively. But these are special, magical things that are happening. And if you can explain them in a 6-minute YouTube video, good for you. Or if you can watch a 6-minute video while somebody does that and you enjoy that, good for you. But that's not real. You cannot explain what makes Khabib Nurmagomedov so special. And what was so special about that against another unbelievably special human being capable of great things in a 10-minute video? You can't. And our jobs over time, we were told to. And then we had to start to act like we knew. Then we had to start to build a narrative, and we started to build language to make it seem like we do know. We don't know. We don't know why that Khabib is so special. We don't know what it feels like. I've been in 9 professional fights and hundreds of rounds of fighting. The intensity that some people can put on you, that jumpy feeling that Justin had, was created by Khabib. That we talk about pressure. This guy's the best pressure fighter. This guy's going to use pressure, use his footwork to move on angles and apply pressure. We're just saying shit. The feeling, because it is magical. It's special. It's the inexplicable power of two human minds interacting in a dynamic, a push and pull dynamic. So it's much beyond where you step your foot, how you kick the calf, how you got the double leg takedown with your head on the outside. But we have to explain something. I have a friend who says this often. All models are wrong. All models are wrong. All models, however we explain how an engine works, what gravity is, what red blood cells are, what fighting is, all the things that we used to explain are our limited understanding as primates walking the earth trying to explain what is so special about Khabib Nurmagomedov. Since time began, greatness. People have written poems about it. People have written stories about it. People have created religions around it. People have done paintings. They've done these things. And yet, for some reason in this time, and maybe this is one of the great flaws of the time that we're in, and maybe this is one of the causes, we take these things that people have spent lifetimes trying to write, to paint pictures about a man like Khabib in former generations, or write songs about someone like Khabib, or write entire books, build mythologies around someone like Khabib. And we try to explain it in 2.5 minutes, sitting in a lit desk wearing an expensive suit. And cut. Whew, that was great. Great job, everybody. Like, that's bullshit, right? And it's okay, but it's not real, right? You can't explain what Khabib did to one of the other greatest fighting human beings ever in such an incredible way by talking about wrestling, or calf kicks. Those are tools. This man is special. And I don't know why I get so passionate about that, but I feel like we're losing the ability. Through our desire to explain everything in neat little packages, we're losing the ability to see the pure magic in it. The pure magic. What Khabib did there was magical. Not magical in the Harry Potter sense, but beyond our ability to explain. Yet we've reduced our ability to explain enough that we're like, well, this guy's a good wrestler and he's got a super intense, he's passionate, and he puts a lot of pressure on somebody. And if he can't stop his takedown, then he's gonna, et cetera, et cetera. That's not, and we accept that. We stop there. Okay, and cut. Great job, guys. The way you talked about his wrestling was phenomenal. Come on, we got to go further. We have to go deeper. Why? Why is Khabib Nurmagomedov capable of that? Capable of what's in his body? What's in his mind? Why? Why Justin Gaethje, who was never able to be broken, then fought twice and lost, which taught him about the realities of those things and how he should be able to do that to Khabib. And the adventure of everything in his life, everything, every wrestling practice that he did from the time he was 7 years old, he was preparing for this night at his best to be capable of finally defeating this man, and Khabib fucking smashed him. Fuck. Like, think of that. Think of that. And don't think of it in terms of, moves and tools. Think of it in terms of lifetimes. Justin Gaethje spent a lifetime. Everything he's learned and done, every experience he's ever had in his life was all there, created to, in this moment, be capable of defeating any other man. And that guy just fucking crushed him. Crushed him. It's fucking amazing. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing. That's what we're watching here. That's what we're watching. We're watching greatness. I lost $50 because I got drawn in. You get drawn into these. When I tweeted earlier, I was like, I've only ever made 2 bets: Holly Holm by knockout to defeat Ronda Rousey, and then Justin Gaethje to win. And somebody literally was like, a lot of people, they're like, this means something. It doesn't mean anything. It means one human being's brain allowed himself to believe something, to believe he could somehow see the future. None of us can. Now, if I instead said Khabib will win by triangle, everybody would be freaking out. Oh my God, you're so smart. But it wouldn't be smart. It's just all things were possible an hour, 2 hours ago. And now there's a truth. There's a truth that happened. That's why I don't spend my money betting on this unpredictable. And in fact, my video back was called something, the madness of forecasting. You cannot forecast. Everything that you forecast, when you forecast something to happen, you can't take into account all of the things. I talked about it in that video, and it's very true. The Green Lumber Fallacy. It's a wonderful book. I'm going to pull it up if I still have it. The Green Lumber Fallacy. The real causative factors of success are often hidden from us. We seduce ourselves into overestimating the impact of our intellect and then wonder why idiots are getting ahead. Well, what they meant, but that wasn't talking about fighting. They were talking about, that the Green Lumber Fallacy is a guy who was really good at trading, like business trading, and he was successful with green lumber. And he literally thought, didn't matter. He literally thought green lumber was wood painted green. Green lumber being unripened wood. He had no idea what it was. There's another story in this book, Anti-Fragile, same idea, about a guy who was the best Swiss franc trader ever, but couldn't find Switzerland on a map because it doesn't matter, right? The best bettors in the world are right 54% of the time, but are experts at betting, because the future is not forecastable. And what is beautiful is when we can see what happened, and then I like to marvel at it. I like to sit there and marvel at it. Khabib fought. History will not go back and remember what. And this is a sad part about the truth of all these lives of adventures that intertwine. History will not go back and say Justin Gaethje was this good, this special. His whole life was brought to this moment, and then he lost. They'll just see it as number 29. But that undermines the greatness of that victory. The reason that victory is great is because he defeated someone else that is 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. That's why it's special. Khabib didn't beat me. He could knock me out in 1 second. He could beat, a kid who was 5-0 on the local scene. He didn't beat that guy. He beat the next best guy on planet Earth. That's what's special about it. And that is not explained by Dagestani wrestling versus USA wrestling. It's none of that. And the real people know it. Sometimes the real people have to do television work and start falling into the narratives, and it's set up in a certain way. And you get a rundown. It says you have to talk about the main event, talk about the wrestling, talk about striking. The top guys are like, well, that's not really how people fight anymore. And that's not really how anyone thinks about fighting. But that's how the audience has thought about it. And that's what this rundown says. So you have to do it. But trust me, Daniel Cormier, when he really is sitting around talking with other real martial arts people, he's not talking the way he talks in the broadcast. None of them are, because that's not really how fighting is seen. It's not how it's experienced. It's not how it's expressed. And oh God, I can't wait to hear Justin Gaethje talk about this experience going forward, because it's you've seen it with Dustin Poirier. It's hard to explain that level of greatness. Part of what makes Khabib great is he makes them feel like they're performing badly. And it's not a fluke. It's not a coincidence. It's not, oh, he keeps fighting guys who are not capable of having great nights. He makes them not have great nights through the intensity. And these, one day, 100 years in the future, we will understand aspects, not just of nonverbal language, but of mental intensity, of these manipulations of another human's mind in the dynamic, the living dynamic of a fight. We will understand all of that, and it will be fascinating. And once we do understand that, we will understand that that model is wrong, because 200 years in the future, we will understand it more deeply. But all models are wrong, but some models are useful. And the models that they're using now on television, this guy's striking versus this guy's takedown defense, yada, 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 those models are wrong, but they're useful because their goal is to sell television or content of some kind, and those models are still usefully doing that, but they're not the truth. Why have I talked for 16 minutes and meandering? Because I believe, in search of really being able to explain, Khabib's wrestling isn't amazing. Khabib's amazing. Khabib's double leg takedown isn't, oh my God, it's an amazing, what a beautiful double leg takedown. It's not a beautiful double leg takedown. It's just a double leg takedown. He's been doing it since he was 3. That's why he's good at it. It's a tool. I said this on the other one. You know, Prince doesn't play a beautiful guitar with these amazing strings. Prince creates music. Those are tools. Khabib creates fighting music. It's its own art. Those are just tools. Those are just tools. Somebody said, what is fight IQ? It's a narrative. Fight IQ is not a fucking thing. What is, can you imagine if people said, how's his medical IQ? And I'd be like, oh, he's a doctor. He's got a high medical IQ. Because the things that we want to use to describe what you know when you're fighting. And we say, oh, he's got a great fight IQ. Your ability to feel, rhythm, your ability to see everything, your ability to make the right choices. If you have a high fight IQ, in our theory, it's like you're good at all those things. But everybody's good at something else. Their feel is good, their rhythm, their understanding of their connection to the rhythm, their ability to sense where the weapons and targets are. All these things are different. If you wanted to give each of them a rating and have 50 things, his awareness of this is high and his awareness of that, but his function of that, even that, we're arbitrarily creating opinions based on our limited understanding of what we see. We do that because we want answers. And television sits, and I just did that job. I was just on television in Canada. That's why I'm wearing a suit. I just did that job. Our job is to try, and that's the job. In a short period of time, we had 3 minutes to discuss Khabib. And we did I believe we did a very good job of that. And I'm proud of that job. But in these situations where we can talk for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, we should explore these things, because this is a great freedom. It's a great freedom that we can explore these ideas. This is just honestly the greatest thing. Like, I'm just so grateful. When I first started my YouTube channel, it'd be like, UFC 254, Khabib versus Justin. And I would be like, okay, well, this guy, shows a lot of this, but, if he uses these things, he's got a reach advantage. And I just did what we do in television. Over years, I realized, why on earth would I do that? I do that on television. That's my job. What I realized is I can sit here and pontificate about all of these things in search of finding deeper meaning, or another layer of understanding, or another layer of enjoyment, or a connection to the art. And this has been the greatest reward in my life, has been able to be able to explore these things and think differently. If you think the same as everybody else and behave the same as everybody else and act the same as everybody else, you'll be in the middle of the pack. And the middle of the pack sucks. There's no action. It's safe. Safety is important. For a lot of people, safety is important. But there's no action in the middle of the pack. All the action, all the growth, all the tension, which is part of growth and part of thrill, is on the fringes. It's on the fringes. So you're not going to get anywhere thinking the same as everybody else. And this environment has allowed me to do that. And this trip, even making a bet today, I don't make bets. But doing that just allowed me to see a little bit differently and think a little bit differently. And now I'll go back to what's more comfortable, which is not fucking with my money, and not more importantly, not sticking down a hallway and defending it. Oh, I know, I think this guy's definitely going to do it because of this. That's got us in a lot of trouble in the world right now. We're all fighting each other, not budging on ideas. It just like these ideas just come to you. Opinions are not a result of work or study. Opinions just pop up in your head. You don't need to honor them. You don't need to honor your opinion. You can reject it and allow yourself to just continue to go. And that's what I usually like to do. But this was a great adventure. I'm really grateful, and God, in the end, $50 to change my experience and let me see something different. But what I did see was like real beauty, like real brilliance. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here for big knockouts or title shots or Twitter beefs. I'm here to be inspired by the greatness that lives within the minds and bodies and hearts and souls and all of the other things we don't quite understand of men and women, humans. Khabib did that tonight, and so did Justin. That was wonderful. What happened there? How that happened? How that unfolded? It was wonderful. And then to see Khabib feel that, to really just stop however he was editing that emotion and that thinking, to allow that to just fall away. It was fucking beautiful. It really was. I'm really thankful I got to see it. And that's why I'm watching fighting. That's why I study fighting. That's why I train fighting. That's why I fought. And that's why I watch it. That's why I analyze it. That's why I talk about it. That's why I fucking built my career doing this. Is for shit like that. Yeah, that was really special. So I can't always read these, and when I go to read them, my face gets really big up close to it. But I will attempt to take a question or a thought. But that was really inspiring. It really was. Another reason I really stayed away from betting is that one time I bet, it changed the way I watched it. I was nervous and I was worried, and I was looking for things to unfold a certain way. And I'm really glad that didn't happen today. Because that was incredibly beautiful and inspiring. It was incredibly inspiring. Again, by all means, if you want to go do this or consume streams, whatever about this, go to it. But there was nothing there. If all we're talking about is the mechanics of a takedown or the mechanics of how you triangle somebody, we are missing the point. Bruce Lee said, when you point to the heavens, and I'm paraphrasing, this will be imperfect, don't look at the finger or you will miss all the heavenly glory. This is the finger. How he put on a triangle isn't what triangles aren't special. Oh, beautiful triangle, amazing double. The tools are not special. They're just tools. Khabib's special. Justin's special. They're dynamic as they meet each other in those moments is special. That's what that's what we all have a tendency often, and I certainly do, say, this is how we should think. This is what we need to do. We can do anything we want. Everybody's free. We are free people, free minds. These are our brains. We get to do what we want with them. But this is what I want to mine and explore and celebrate. And I get to do it. TSN today, Sports Center, it was fun. and we got to do a great, and our producer and the people, Aaron and the people I work with are great. And that was really, I think we did a great job over there. And I think this is fun. I've had fun all day streaming and chatting with people, sharing thoughts, and then over at Bellator, literally, you wait, I got a piece, Fight Secrets coming out this week. You wait, it's fucked up. It's totally fucked up. But I get to do that. I'm just so pleased, like to be able to go in and think this way. And a year or two, I felt a lot of tension around it. I didn't want to only be the guy who drew arrows to show where a guy slipped and another guy punched. And, a billion, literally a billion people have watched my 1 minute breakdowns on Instagram and Twitter, which is crazy. But I didn't want to just spend the rest of my life going, and he stepped here, and then this leg here, and that kick did this, and this guy ran this pattern to, like, I wanted to instead of stopping and going, well, now we know what it is. It was a double jab right hand to a double leg takedown. That was it. Of course, that's not it. How did he do it? How did he become that? And like, what's happening in his mind? What does the emotion feel like? I can tell you this. Never mind, when you fight, everything about fighting changes. Everything you think you know immediately changes. And you cannot, it's impossible to know. I've heard, like, I don't know if anyone's ever taken mushrooms. It's been a while for me, but I have taken hallucinogenics. That everything changes. That's what it's like when you're in a fight. That's what it's like. Not even when you get hit. Just the spotlight effect and the intensity, and then the nowness of it. You interact with the world differently. Changes everything. Then, like the anxiety and the pain and the confusion and the loudness and the quietness, it's incredible. It's an incredible thing. And when you fight, everything changes. All of a sudden, the meaning of a low kick is a lot different when you fight. Even then, if you've been kicked once, you get kicked once, you're like, oh my God, this is definitely different than I was expecting. But then when you fight, it changes the meaning again. And I fought at a low level. I had 9 professional fights against the lowest level, entry level of pro fighting. And it changed everything. Then as it ascends, it gets bigger and scarier. Jason Herzog, the ref today, is, in my opinion, I was going to say the best ref out there. He is the upper echelon. And for many reasons. His process being the most important one. Nobody's born a good ref. It's skill. It's developed. It's a process. It's a study. It's a practice, like everything. And Jason, and he was tapping. Jason didn't respond immediately. No harm done. No big deal. Justin's not mad, and nobody got hurt. But he was affected. He is among the very best refs on planet Earth, and he has reffed thousands of fights by this point. It's 5 a night, 100 shows, 500 right there, right? And I'm sure it's more like 300-400 shows. So 1,000 fights. He was affected by that. And he reffed at the lowest level, medium level, high level, highest level, and then tonight he was affected because he's human. And Justin is, but somehow Khabib makes that work to his advantage. And I know a lot of people don't. I'm not speaking for myself. I admire Conor McGregor. A lot of people don't like him, but you shouldn't dismiss that he has had the ability to make others perform badly. Khabib did that to him, made him worse. And Khabib was better and affected him. The best of that was bested by Khabib. Justin here, the best of the combination of skills was bested by Khabib. Dustin Poirier, fully prepared, mentally tough, bested by Khabib. This is a special person. And it ain't because he's the best wrestler in the game. That's just shit we say on TV. He's a unique human being. And when I say unique, I mean he's a unique human being right now. He was born a person, regular person. There's genetic advantages that we all have in different ways. Some of us get to use them. If you're 7 feet tall, that's a genetic advantage if you happen to play basketball, maybe volleyball, maybe some other things. If you get to do those things, great. There's genetic advantages that you and I may have, things that we would naturally inherently be good at that we just don't get to do. You might be amazing, just be predisposed to being the way you relate to a horse when horse riding. You would have some genetic advantage for that we're unaware of, but you don't get to ride horses. So Khabib has some of those, but he was just a person. He was just a little human baby. And through the work he did, the things he learned, the environment he was in, the leadership he got, the challenges he faced, the changes he made, the way he grew, what he did, that he's now this. So he is a unique and special human being, but he's the result of a lifetime of work. Now, we don't get to start wrestling at 4 because you're now, let's say you're 27 or you're 19 and I'm 50, but we can change everything. We have the ability to shape ourselves. And when you watch Khabib defeat Justin, Justin spent his whole lifetime getting ready to defeat Khabib. This isn't a game. This isn't just, they pop onto the TV and they represent something. These are humans who have dedicated an entire lifetime to creating an environment in their body and an environment in their brain where they're able to express these things in real time during these moments against a trained professional trying to beat them up in their underpants in front of everybody. That's fucking special. I definitely look like a nightclub promoter now that I've taken off my tie from work and I'm still wearing my jacket. Anyways, it was just a gift to watch that, and I'm so thankful. When I've been doing streams lately on YouTube and Periscope and stuff, hundreds of people have joined me and left encouraging things and said cool stuff and shared my stuff, and it means the fucking world to me. It means the fucking world to me. This is a gift to be able to think these things out. And not everybody agrees with me. I'm on my own trip. And for a lot of people, that's a trip they're interested in. That's why they're here. Other people like to watch me and go, that guy's fucking crazy. That's okay too. It's okay too. But I'm on a journey of trying to figure out every angle with which I can consume and understand and show and illuminate and excite martial arts. I'm not here to tell you how a low kick works. I'm here to take this art form and curate it and find as many different ways to enrich the experience of consuming it, because I think it's magic. That's what I'm doing here, and I can't believe I get to do it. I'm going to sign off in a second, but I was going to say I'll be self-indulgent, but this is all self-indulgent. This is my channel. And people come on and hang with me. It's fucking so self-indulgent, and it's so kind that people want to fucking hear what I have to say. It's fucking amazing. But about 12 or 13 years ago, I wanted to be able to study martial arts and find things about it, curious things, fascinating things, life lessons, confusing things, and then share it with people. That's what I wanted to do. I was willing to get into a cage to try to understand it to that point. And now I literally get to do that. I pay my mortgage and I travel and and I get to do that. And it's incredible. It's incredible. And I get to watch that fight. The fight inspired me so much. And I feel for Justin. I don't care about my $50 because I've traveled honestly to places in Europe and Asia for thousands of dollars to lose money to commentate fights. It was part of my process. Well, I'll talk about it on someone's podcast one day if we get to sit for hours. But part of the process to learn to be here, I spent tens of thousands. I spent, more than that. I was $40,000 in debt when I was first getting all this stuff together. And now I make a great living and all of that was paid. But that's the process. You have to go and do it. I would travel for free to cover things. I've spent some thousands of dollars to show up and put stuff on my YouTube channel. Bring my friend Mark, and the two of us would go together and pay for everything. I traveled to Ireland to go, and I traveled all over to study from other martial artists. I quit my job to train full-time to fight. I'd pay anything to have experiences like this. And so to lose $50 to see that, to be moved like that, was so amazing. But I do feel for Justin, because as we are here celebrating how brilliant Khabib is right now, and we are, at least I am. He's brilliant. He's inspiring, he's inspiring, his humanity as well as his fighting, but as we're doing that, Justin Gaethje's alone in a hotel room. He's got his family and friends around him, and I'm glad, but this story, I'm the greatest in the world tonight and everybody knows it. Justin wanted that story to be about him today. And he came in there, prepared everything for that. And he has been his lifetime. And he didn't win today. He got smashed by like, and I mean, some judges actually gave him the first round, which is super cool. History won't give a fuck about that either, and that's tough for Justin. But the big thing for Justin Gaethje is he will. This will hurt. This will be painful. This is not 3 hours ago, a day ago, a week ago, a month ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. All that time, he wanted us today to be talking Justin Gaethje is the first man to beat the unbeatable. He is the true greatest. And that's not the story now, because you don't get to write your own story. And I'm always looking for life lessons from these things. I'm looking for them in a painting, and I'm looking for it in music, and I'm looking for it in art and history. You know, and we're looking for, what the fuck are we doing here? We're trying to figure out how, what we can learn about the world. At least I am. And I'm hoping I learn something that I can share, and you can accept or reject, or I can make you think, and you can think it's a good idea or explore some new thing. But, I don't know. He wanted to win. And what happens is we don't get to write our own story because we're not the only ones in it. Especially, and that again, sorry, if you're just joining me, I was working earlier for Sports Center in Canada. So I was wearing a suit, which I love. I love actually wearing suits. I don't wear them unless I'm working usually, but every now and again. This is a stretchy undershirt because, as you might imagine, when you're a hyperactive character, when you're a hyperactive character, you might sweat a fair bit. And I drink a lot of coffee. But we don't get to write our own story, right? And it's really important. You get to write aspects of it. You get to work on what to learn, how to react, how to react to things. You can't control if somebody calls you an idiot. Like, I can go on Twitter right now and I can find, I'm sure, let's read it. I could find people calling me an idiot. It wouldn't take long. No, actually, it's really nice things. Love flicking the channel, seeing Robin Black on TSN. That's so nice. Anyways, people say nice stuff too. But you can't control your own, you can't control your own story, right? Because other people are in it. You can control how you react. So I can't control if somebody said my hair's stupid. My hair is stupid, but I can control how I react, right? I can't control, what happens if somebody hires me for a job, but I can control how I use that powerfully. Justin Gaethje cannot control simply winning this fight because there's another man that is equally engaged in the dynamic, and both of them, they're unwilling dance partners with conflicting objectives, both trying to achieve the same thing at the other one's expense. That's another reason why it's so fucking beautiful. It's a metaphor for life itself. I've been saying that for a decade. Fighting is a metaphor for life itself. Now I see my friends who I've said it about, like Michael Chandler and stuff, using that, which is great. And I'm sure I certainly wasn't the first person to think of fighting as a metaphor for life, but that's what I see in it. That's why I love to watch it. But yeah, we both want the same thing, and we're both going in there with every fiber of our being to get it. And you don't get to force him to lie down, and he doesn't get to force you to lie down. You fight for every position, you fight for every moment, and tonight Khabib won, and he's a genius. And it's been an honor to watch him fight. And it was an honor to watch him fight tonight. It was an honor to have him take my $50. It was an honor to see that true emotion, the emotion that released after a journey of a lifetime to achieve a goal that he set out to achieve with his father, who he loves, who's passed away. All of it. I can't explain it, and neither should anyone. Again, if you leave here with only one thing other than that Robin fucking Black is sure gets worked up about stuff and sure is passionate. I hope you think that. Think of this. We shouldn't be able to explain these things. Our quest to simplify the magical is at our expense. I know there are fucking people who can say that the Dagestani wrestling will defeat the USA wrestling, but it isn't. We're stopping ourselves from seeing the real magic. It's the humans. It's the individuals. It's their mind and their body and their emotion, their psychology and their life. It's a life experience. I've said this too often, probably too often, but when you watch a great blues, you listen to a great blues player play guitar, you hear his life experience in the notes. I fucking saw Khabib's life experience in every punch that he tried to throw and every time he moved forward and all the intensity in his body. I saw his life experience. I saw it. And so did you. You did. You saw it. That's fucking cool. So cool. It's so cool. I'm going to wrap it up. So hard to wrap it up when you got 200 people hanging out with you that are kind enough to give you their time and attention in a world of limited time and unlimited possible things to consume. You choose to hang out with me. I don't care why. I'm honored by that. But I got to wrap it up. Um, but I don't want to. I'm so inspired by that. I'm so inspired by what I saw. Um, but yes, thank you all very much. Much love to Khabib and Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, if you happen to watch this, or if somebody happens to clip this, send it to you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for everything you've done and the path you've taken and how you carry yourself and what you are. Thank you, Justin Gaethje. And Khabib's been so nice to me. Although I'm still blocked on Instagram. That was Ali, and Ali's nice to me now too. Ali unblocked me from Khabib's Instagram. Not that that matters, but Khabib, thank you for your path and your story and your every second and what you are and what you've shown and what you've expressed and what kind of human being you are. You know, thank you guys for that, and thank everybody for watching. I can't believe how many people want to fucking watch me talk and express these ideas, and it's deeply moving to me. Um, it's multiplied by a ton over the last couple of months since I've been doing a lot of these. And it's very kind of you to choose to spend your time with me. And I will do my best not to let you down. Whether that means trying to come up with meaningful things to be through my own study to be able to express, or just being a goofball so you can laugh at me, I'll try my best not to let you down. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with me. And until next time, enjoy the hostilities, my friends.